Can you think of someone who's really, really different from you? Maybe you like running and playing sports outside, while they like to quietly read inside. Or maybe you're shy and nervous around other people, and they're always excited to meet new people and talk in front of others. Maybe you come from a small family, and they come from a huge family. Now think about this. If someone is very different from you, does that mean that you wouldn't get along with them or you shouldn't be their friend? Of course not. No matter how different someone is, everyone is deserving of friendship and love. And in today's story, someone was seen as very different. So different that he wasn't liked or accepted. Let's take a look. Today's story is actually a parable. Do you remember what a parable is? It's a story that teaches a lesson, and Jesus told a lot of them. Jesus told this parable as a response to someone asking him, "Who should I show love to?" See, the Bible says, "Love your neighbor." So someone was asking Jesus, "Who is my neighbor?" Here's the parable he told. There was a man who was robbed and left on the street in really bad shape. He needed help. Then a priest walked his way. What do you think the priest did? Maybe you have a prediction, or maybe you've heard this parable before. In this parable, the priest walked right by the man who needed help. He could have stopped, but he chose to cross to the other side of the road and ignore the man. Then a Levite walked by. A Levite was a man who worked in a temple or a church. What do you think happened here? Just like the priest, the Levite also walked right by the man without helping him. But there was someone who helped the man in need. The next person to walk by was a Samaritan. Samaritans were not liked in this area. They were actually seen as enemies. But the Samaritan didn't really worry about how different he was from this person. He just saw that there was a person who needed help. Even though they should have been considered enemies, the Samaritan stopped to help the man in need. The Samaritan didn't worry about what the man might have thought about who he was. He only saw a man needing help, and he did what Jesus would have done. It was important to show love no matter what. The Samaritan led the man to an inn where he could be cared for. Not only that, but the Samaritan made sure the man had what he needed by paying the innkeeper enough money for him to be taken care of. Helping the man like this was the right choice for the Samaritan, even though many people would say these two people should not have gotten along. Showing kindness and spreading God's love is always the right choice. That was Jesus' parable of the Good Samaritan. Now, let's think about it a little. When the man in need was hurt and laying on the ground and people were passing by, what do you think was most important to him? Do you think the man really cared if it was a priest or a Levite or a Samaritan who helped him? I don't think so. He just needed help. And Jesus wants us to always help and show kindness, even in situations where it might not seem like we should. This parable shows the idea of helping and showing love no matter what. Now, here's a song about it.
Anytime is always a good time to be kind. Anytime is always a good time to be kind. It doesn't matter who you are, Jesus wants you to show love. It doesn't matter who they are, Jesus wants you to show love. So let God's light shine. Show love and be kind. So let God's light shine. Show love and be kind. Anytime is always a good time. A good time to be kind. Anytime, it's always a good time. A good time to be kind.
That's the parable of the Good Samaritan. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time for the next Bible story.